Another week. Another week in the books. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Fantastic.
Good. You know, one good thing about doing this podcast is kind of reconnecting with old friends, you know. They follow you through other people or socials, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's good to reconnect. I just recently connected with somebody named Andrew. You know, big fan, watches all of our shows.
I know I saw the comment get dropped, and I'm like, that's why I texted you. I'm like, I don't know who it is, so I know that's
Right.
not directed at me.
Yeah. So for somebody who was like very important in my life and didn't, speak for 8 years, nothing bad, just,
Right.
life.
Yeah.
And able to find me doing this show, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So I appreciate everyone that follows and everything. It is, getting close to that time of the month, Not
I know I've been cranky, but call me out in front of fucking everybody.
not that time of the, I mean, look, I don't know what you're identifying these days, but Halloween season is right around the corner, coming up. And something that's here in Florida that I had no clue about, that a coworker of mine brought up, is that there is a doll in a museum in Key West here in Florida.
Okay.
Okay? Apparently it's world famous. Never heard of it, but it's world famous.
Sadly, I've been here for 30 years, and I've never been to the Keys.
I don't think you've
people think I'm... Yeah.
been past Tampa. That is probably... Oh, okay. Well, never mind that. But his name's Robert the Doll. Okay? And apparently it's an old Civil War fort in Key West, Florida. They made a museum out of it.
Okay.
Okay? And I guess this doll, Robert, represents that.
Can I call him Bob?
You can,
Bob
if you
the
want to. Look, Robert the Doll is big time. You can follow him on YouTube. He's got merch. He's got a book. I mean, this is crazy. And he's got a red rum. Never heard of it. Okay? But apparently why I'm bringing this up is this.
Robert the Rum?
No.
No? Oh,
No.
that's a shame.
But apparently when you go and see this doll, there is a lot of rules you have to follow. Okay?
Don't call him Bob. Did I break the rule?
So pretty much just a brief of who this Robert the Doll is he was created around 1904 and given as a gift to Key West with like a toy. I guess this company gave it to the fort of Key West as a toy. Whatever. Listen, I'm just reading you what it is. Okay. But some theories suggest that it was created with voodoo.
There it is.
Yeah. So, a lot of people from all over the world, I guess, go and visit him.
I've
never heard of him. And apparently is when you go in there, they give you like a list of things you have to do. Like you have to be polite, you have to address it, you have to ask it permission if you can talk to it. Like, I know. It's.
This is kind of slowly where we're getting as a society, but this is just with the doll.
But the reason why is because if you break some of these rules that it has, it can haunt you.
Okay.
Okay.
How does it haunt me?
So,
does it say?
Apparently, they receive letters of people who have paranormal experiences with them. Oh no, I'm sorry. So you have to give it permission, and you have to be polite. You have to address him by his name. Like there's a whole bunch of. But
right,
apparently,
I get that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to flip through this long ass
No,
thing.
you're fine. I was just gonna say, like, how would it haunt me? Like, if those are, it's like, for instance, what I'm thinking of right now, considering his parameters, or I have to ask it permission, I have to be polite to it. Like, shit in my house starts to go wrong. Like, I got to be nice to the fridge, or it won't open.
Well, here's what it is. So,
ask the toilet permission to take a shit.
No. People who disrespect Robert the Doll report days, weeks, or months of mechanical problems, accidents, strange occurrences, and misfortune.
Life.
Some people end up with lost luggage. Others
Imagine
report
that.
being struck by lightning.
And live? That's good luck.
And they say it is rare for a death to be attributed to Robert the Doll.
You're fine.
But it's a ghost tour guide, and again, it's like they give you all these warning signs before you enter, and apparently another caveat to this is if you visit the doll and you disrespect it, whatever, I don't know, and you feel like you're cursed, apparently you have to write an apology letter and send it to them. I'm being
No, I
look.
get you.
Listen,
That's
I thought
the
this
folk
was
tale.
bullshit when my coworker told me this. I'm like, okay, I don't know what fucking drugs you're on. A, I want in on it, and B, who the fuck is paying? Like, who's showing up to this? Well,
Yeah.
apparently, a lot of people are. You can see Robert the Doll in the daytime or experience him after dark for an intimate lockdown or ghost hunt.
Ooh, a ghost hunt. Wouldn't the doll be the thing? I mean, it's right there. It's not much of a hunt.
Where do I send a letter to Robert the Doll? You can send apologies, well wishes, and other letters to Robert at Robert the Doll, and it gives you its address. This is a total shakedown. It really is. And you know what? The joke's on us. Joke's on us. Here we are. We're just trying to make something out of just doing a podcast. They just have some doll. And apparently it's
like the gimmick of believing in Santa. It's the magic of believing it, even though nothing actually happens.
Here's what I think. Here's my conspiracy on this. I think that they track people who visit the doll that are so-called disrespectful. They have their little employees follow them, and they just start fucking with them.
We'll see who's having fucking bad luck if they get caught.
I'm just saying.
Because I was just having an idea. You and I take a road trip. And we'll just, if you're not up to it, but record ourselves, if not just me being disrespectful to the doll. You think they'd throw us out if we were just like in front of a bunch of people? Like,
oh, it depends. It's in a plexiglass. If you I think if you try to break into it or
not
something,
cuss at it because they might throw you out if there's
put your
children
fucking
there.
balls on it.
Right, that might be a bit much. Put them on the glass. But if you were to just look at the doll and judge its clothing. For instance, what does it look like? I'm gonna look this up. What Robert the Doll, or call it something else.
It's really,
be a little disrespectful to it and see what happens after a couple days.
It's weird. This is the only picture, and I'll post it on the show while we're doing it. But that's what it looks like. And again, I don't really know.
I'm definitely gonna say something about the pajamas.
There's a curse behind it, but. Again, I don't know how much it is to get in there, but they got a whole thing in there. I'm sure that they asked for money, like, hey, slip in a 20 into your apology letter or something.
Yeah,
but
I don't know, like the Tooth Fairy.
I'm going to be honest with you. As ridiculous as it sounds, I don't think I would go, because the last.
Oh no, that's not going to be the destination. Key West would be the destination.
Right.
That's just a
but
little
I'm just
side.
saying, the last thing I would want that I need is more bad luck on top of the. But I'm just saying, it's just.
That's all manifesting in your head now. After you visited something you've been told by somebody could be bad luck if you do X, Y, Z, then you do that, and then just happens something, anything, no matter how small or big of a negative thing, you're now going to attribute that.
Right.
To because we like to make up stories in our head. It's like, I was good all year. That's why I got, I equated to Santa again. That's why I got good gifts.
Right.
Because I can remember lots of times I was kind of shitty, but
it puts you on it kind of puts you on the right track, though. It gives you something it gives you a, for like the Santa thing, right? Like, it gives you
a delusion.
You can call it a delusion, but it gives you something to stay on track. Like, it's kind of, I guess, like
Robert the Doll's watching
me. Dangling a carrot. Right. Like, if the doll, but if the doll's watching you, okay, maybe I'm going to be respectful, well-mannered, because regardless if you believe it or not, even though I believe this is a fucking sham, I don't know. I still wouldn't. I wouldn't do it on purpose.
There'd be something to this, though. Parents, if you're parents of anyone, forget Elf on the Shelf this year. Get a Robert the Doll and tell your kids the
He's
story.
got merch. He's
That's
got
a little bit
fucking
better
merch.
than, oh, it's Santa's helper. He reports back. Like, Robert the Doll will fuck your life up.
He's
Like,
got merch, dude. I mean, he's not playing. He's fucking big time.
I wonder what he sounds like. I think he speaks with an accent. If he were to talk, I know he writes letters, but
Yeah,
I'm not sure what he would do.
I don't know.
But apparently, a poll has been conducted. Americans have voted a certain accent, it is a U.S. accent, as the least attractive in the world. What U.S. accent do you think Americans voted was least attractive?
Ooh. I'm gonna. I'm gonna say Boston.
Boston?
Yeah.
That's a good guess.
Yeah.
That's a wicked good guess.
Yeah.
It's not, though.
Okay.
New York.
Really?
Yep, the New York accent is the least attractive in the world. Out of the 1,000 surveyed, they determined that. And they determined that Australian was the most attractive. Can you kind of get behind that a little bit?
No.
No?
No.
You ever heard an Australian woman speak?
Yeah.
I kind of like it. Something about that Australian, British, like it's almost...
No,
Like British is like they're better than me or smarter than me.
Yeah, they're talking down to you.
Australian is kind of like... They're just more... It feels like they're more free-spirited or just like wild and adventurous. To me, anyways. That's
Right.
the vibe I get from it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, a woman accent in either New York or Boston is kind of hot.
Right? The tough shit.
Outside of U.S., I mean Italian all day.
Italian.
It's
yeah.
just it's a certain swag to it. Like they got like an attitude behind them, and kind of like why like Spanish chicks there's such a war around them, because like there's always that saying, like, you know, they'll cut you with a knife or whatever. Like that's fucking like that's kind of hot.
Right.
Like you're just like, oh man.
Little dose of fear goes a long way.
Right, and like especially New York and Boston chicks, dude, they don't give a fuck, man. They will let you have it, and
They'll carve
you know,
your ass up. That's a good point.
I mean, sometimes as a man, you need to be fucking checked.
Firenze.
You
Right.
need to be checked, but
Well, they have the most attractive. They listed 8. Australian, obviously, like I said, was number 1. Number 2 ended up being Scottish, which is a little strange, I guess, because all I can think of is Shrek when I think of that.
yeah,
Shrek and it's Mike Myers is in my head, but
Yeah.
I'd have to hear a woman speak it. London got number 3. 4 was Irish. 5 was French. 6 was Italian. So it did make the list. 7 is Welsh, and 8 is Brummie. I'm gonna have to do a Google search on that. I have no fucking clue what that
What
is.
about no Chinese, Korean, anything like that made the list?
No. No.
Huh? No Mandarin, nothing.
No.
Huh?
But the least attractive, they went with number 1 being New York. Number 2 was Boston. So you came pretty damn
Okay,
close. Number 2 was
okay.
Boston. 3 American Midwestern. So I'm gonna guess like Michigan-y, Ohio-ish.
Now, did they do this poll straight women or women and men?
It doesn't specify. Just
That'd be
conducted a
interesting.
survey of Americans, over 1,000 surveyed Americans, so probably just a good mix of the two.
Okay.
But yeah, then the Spanish got into the most romantic and seductive accents. So yeah, you're definitely along the lines of a lot of the way people were looking at the positives in the accents, but not so much with the negatives, like you pointed out about, especially a woman with a thick New York accent or something like that. It's still kind of a little bit of a turn on because of that fear factor to it.
Right.
But there's a lot of things, like, for instance, when you meet someone for the first time, sometimes your accent, or theirs, I should say, gives you like a quick judgment. Even though it could be wrong, it's already there, the stereotype, if you will, of that accent. Like if you were to meet somebody that had a southern accent, like in my mind, it still pops in there. Even though it's not right, it pops in there like they're stupid.
Right.
They're dumb. You like NASCAR, don't you?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
you watch the stars and the moon and listen to Kenny Chesney and all that
Right.
shit. Look, but then 99 times out of 100, I'm right.
right.
Except for the intelligence part. They end up being a lot smarter than I assume them to be, and that's kind of a bad rap for that accent.
Yeah. Every race, every religion, everyone gets a bad rap on
Right.
something. It really does. But the stereotypes is not necessarily mean, but it's like making fun of yourself.
A little bit.
You know what I mean? Like that's how you should take stereotypes. It's
Right.
not so much like it's being mean spirited. It's just like a funny.
It's an observation
just
of
a funny
a
thing.
huge group of people, so it's kind of true to an extent. It's an homage, basically.
Did I ask you what's your least favorite accent? I don't know if I asked you. I might have. I
I
forgot.
have a least favorite.
Least. What would your least favorite be? What's one that's like nails on the chalkboard?
If it's sometimes an overly thick Canadian accent. I know I'm coming at my own people right there, but
What Canadian or like Canadian French?
no.
Like what? Just
Well,
straight
I
Canadian.
guess a little bit of both too.
Okay.
Because sometimes you can tell I can tell at least the French Canadian because of my grandmother when she was around because it's like the like it's a weird. It's kind of a screech or a banshee kind of French. It's a little off. It's not France French.
Right.
It's mushy.
Yeah.
And landlocked, so yeah, you're not going to be a part of them either. But Florida apparently has an accent. I know a lot of us down here in Florida don't think that we do, but people from around the states do claim that we have an accent. And not only that, we've got some interesting terms. So I want to see if you've ever heard of these. Some of you may have. Some I've never heard of.
And even though Floridians have like their own accent, like they can tell like we're not from here.
Right, yeah, originally.
Like to them,
Originally,
we
yeah.
have the accent. Like people can tell that I'm from up north.
Right,
You know, people can tell that you're not from here.
right.
They don't really know where you're from, but you know,
From
I
fucking
mean,
Mars.
but they just know you're not here.
Right.
Like you can easily detect if you know who's a real Floridian and who's not.
It's an outsider.
Yeah, I mean, and I've been here fucking over 20 years, and
So-
I still not considered a Floridian to
All right.
some.
What do you think, if you know, go ahead and say it, but what's a Florida Happy Meal? You ever heard of that?
No.
I never had either. But apparently a Florida Happy Meal is just easier than saying I'm going out for beer, a lottery ticket, and cigarettes. I like it. It's legit.
That's weird. I thought it was going to be like having like a Happy Meal, but like getting head or
With
something.
meth.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or I said head, not meth. But.
A jit.
A jit?
Yeah.
Oh, your younger brother. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud?
It's along the right lines, though. Juvenile in training. Jit. I mean,
Yeah,
we used to
there
say
you
that
go.
in high school. Right.
There you go.
All right. This one I knew from childhood because my mom used to say it all the time. A no-see-um. You ever heard that term?
No.
Those are those little gnats that come out. They're not mosquitoes, but it's like these tiny bugs that come out that still bite you and you get like really itchy. Like it's kind of when spring is turning into summer. The humidity's really back in full swing and it's
Yeah.
nasty.
It's not ringing a bell now.
Yeah, it's yeah, they're kind of like gnats, and they used to they fooled me. They said it was an old Native American term. And when I said it, but it's no see them because they're so damn small. I'm like, you motherfuckers, you tricked me again.
Right.
We all know this one, snowbirds.
Yeah.
People from up north, they're coming back down right now. I'm seeing a lot of license
Oh,
plates changing.
we're getting more than snowbirds, baby.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
getting
We're getting everybody,
We're getting
right?
people across the ocean. It's everywhere, baby. Yeah.
Speaking of which, they could be taking a Florida bath. Do you know what that is? What would you think a Florida bath is?
I'm gonna say you're, taking a bath in a lake or something.
That's a fair guess.
In the
Close,
Everglades.
but no. It's basically going
beer
in the
bath?
pool and not showering or bathing after and getting the chlorine off of you. It's a
Yeah.
Florida bath. That's fine.
Yeah.
I was in the water.
Yeah.
I get that. This one I didn't know, and I thought it was kind of cool. A square grouper. Dan the Fishman. You heard of this? Square grouper? He might come across one of these. Because every once in a while, if you're fishing or swimming in the right place at the right time, you could come across a square grouper. This is the name that the U.S. Coast Guard working in the waters around South Florida gave to overboarded bales of drugs. It's also the name of a Florida bar where Alan Jackson shot his 5 O'Clock Somewhere music video.
Nice.
So yeah, basically. Bales of
Nice.
cocaine before the sharks get them.
Yeah. Nice.
Square grouper. I dig it.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. Accents are interesting. I mean, I can't really pinpoint the Florida one. You're right about, with women and some accents, but I don't know. The Boston one still kind of gets to me, especially because, my history with their sports fans.
No.
The loud and obnoxiousness, which is, you're a Pats fan.
Fair to fair It's a fair argument. Like,
Yeah,
you know.
it's because when you have that accent and then you have the attitude and it's directed at you at the and they're a stranger, it's just because you like the other team.
Right.
It's a bit
But the hatred
obnoxious.
towards them is just unreal.
And same with New
And
York.
I love it. And I fucking love it.
Your poor Pats this year, man. I'm sorry.
Let me tell you something, okay? Because we talk about your Packers a lot.
Yeah.
And it's
they're
rare
ass.
that we really bring up my Patriots here, okay? But first of all, it's been a rough season, okay? It's been a rough couple years. And, everybody in sports media is talking about, the team, what's Bill Belichick going to do, and everything like that. I got to tell you, I started watching the Patriots in 1998. That's when the first game I've ever saw was Patriots and Eagles. Okay, been a Pats fan ever since. Okay, I understood that once Brady left, we were gonna not do as well.
Right.
That's just how it is. Like 20 years, okay, your time's up.
You're
Like,
gonna
all right.
hobble a little bit without him, but
Right.
find yourself,
Right.
find your footing.
Right, but some of the decisions, man, I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing? Okay, it's kind of just like we're just spitballing. Like I don't really know. So here's my thing that I really just need to say is Bill Belichick needs to go. He just needs to go. Just ride off in the sunset.
Yeah.
You Brady has shown that because when he left, there was like a little bit of who did more, who's
Right.
Was it Brady or Belichick, whatever. Well, Brady went out and won a ring. Okay, then he drug a horrible Bucks at least to the wild card. You haven't done shit, and you have a losing record since Brady left. And Mac Jones, who won Rookie of the Year 2 years ago, he's playing like ass because we got no weapons, nothing. Okay, our big signing was Dallas running back, Castaway. That's our big, major blockbuster thing. And it's just a shame, And it's like you and I get it where you respectfully you're just like, well, he'll retire when he's done. But sometimes you're just like, man,
he's never gonna They have to push him out the door. It feels like now.
But if I'm Bill Belichick, like, what else you have to improve? Because now I feel like the longer you keep doing this, it's going to be like a black mark on you, and then it's going to hurt your legacy. Like
you're tarnishing your reputation because you don't quit while you're ahead. Like I get his whole quote: "To live in the past is to die in the present." Well, you're dying in the present right now.
Yeah.
So where are you living?
Like some of the coaching decisions have been horrible. He's never been a good GM. His draft picks have been horrible. And really, it's a toss up between who's worse, the Patriots or the Denver Broncos. I really don't know at this point, and it's a shame. But not that anyone's going to really listen in the NFL, but if I were other teams right now that need a quarterback, like the Jets, the Raiders, just some teams off the top of my head, now would be the time to try to trade to get Mac Jones. Now would be the time, okay? Just saying. Get him right now before it's too late to where he's really damaged. And now would be the time.
Is this potentially also a fantasy thing? Pick him up on fantasy?
No. No, but I'm just.
If he does get traded, pick him up on fantasy.
Maybe.
Okay.
It's a shame because I really like the team. But look, I got to stick with the team. It hurts. That's my team. And
that's a true fan right there. Through thick and thin, man.
It's a shame, but it's sad. But I mean, we can do it. It's kind of like seeing like Joe Biden as just diminish every fucking time he hops on the pedestal, and it's just like Bill's. Decision making has been horrible. The team doesn't look inspired. They just look like they're ready to go home. Like,
have you been talking with anyone else that's within the fan base feeling the same, or like reading stuff online?
Yeah,
it's kind of the same.
Yeah, it's kind of the same. Like, listen, just go, But
still sticking with the team though.
Oh yeah,
See,
it's
the loyalty that runs deep.
Here, every team's got bandwagoners, and. There was a point where when Brady left, there were just Brady fans that left and followed him to Tampa, like whatever. But no, I mean, just like you still stick with the Packers. you stick with your team. That's just been my team. It's hard for me to root for anybody else. It really is. Even though I like to see new teams be successful, like the Lions, it's just hard for me to root for any team.
Right. Well, they had, speaking of fans going over the top, they had some lady, it was a Chargers fan, and I just saw her one morning it was Monday morning after I wake up, and I'm like seeing all this stuff on social media of this woman in a Chargers jersey just freaking out in the stands, just like really over the top, like the expressions on her face, and they kept going back to her all the time, kind of like Taylor Swift, like how you were saying, it's like every 15 minutes, every time something happens or a commercial break, coming back from going towards
to a Chargers fan,
right? It's a Chargers fan, this woman, and people were basically saying that she was a plant because they're in LA, right?
Yeah,
Right. They moved it from San Diego to LA. LA could give two fucks about that football team.
Yes.
So the theory is that she is a planted fan just being over the top. Because who the hell has ever seen... Like, we've seen diehard Raiders fans, with all the crazy shit on them.
The Buccaneers have the Bucco Brews.
Right. And people dress up like pirates.
Yeah.
And, the Eagles, and people are, putting Eagles wings on. Bears fans in the middle of winter with no shirts on. And you never see that stuff for L.A. So that's why it was really interesting. And the fact that they kept showing her continuously was like they were trying to drive the point home. Like, we have fans, guys. Like, check us out, sort of thing.
Right.
Now, apparently they interviewed this woman, and she says that, according to that source,
I like
that
Philip
she is
Rivers.
Just, right, but why do you...
Ma'am, that's the wrong guy. Yeah. He doesn't play.
Right. But it's weird to think that you would just keep showing the same person over and over, and her expressions were so over the top that it's just like, is this legitimate or not?
Right.
Because they do that all the time.
Yeah.
Whether it's to promote a movie, I've seen that done before. Like it was, I think it was a Purge movie that was coming out, and they put all these people with like fake shit on a fake mask on in the crowd of a baseball game or a hockey game. They did that with Smile, the movie that was coming out. They just have people sitting in the crowd, and the camera's just panning over, and they're just looking right at the camera. Like it was all done on purpose to promote something. So that's the theory behind this. Seems like a stretch.
There was a celebrity, I forgot who, but when they put the camera on him, he had a sign and he held it up, not Taylor Swift. So, it's...
That's a good gimmick maybe to get the camera guy's attention.
Right.
Although I didn't know that you could bring signs back into games. I thought that was a big no-no.
Yeah.
But hey.
Go ahead.
One can dream, right? Yeah.
Well, real quick, because we're still on the football topic. Did you hear about... I don't know, do you listen to Pat Macafee or anything?
No.
Yeah. Well... He apparently, I guess it leaked or whatever, that he pays your favorite quarterback of all time, Aaron Rodgers, $1 million a week to be on his show.
If that's true, then I hate Aaron Rodgers tenfold more than I did before hearing that. Because why this man continues to demand so much fucking money?
But
if he's getting paid $1 million on the side to be on the Pat McAfee show,
but why is he giving it to him?
I don't know.
But I'm just saying, like, you can get mad at Rodgers, but if the person's willing to pay you that,
well, he's not doing anything else right now.
Right, but I'm just saying, to me, it makes Pat McAfee look like...
Yeah, you have to pay people to come on your
show.
It's
not authentic. You have to pay. You have to pay your guests to be on.
No.
Which I guess that happens, but
I don't listen to it anyway, so I guess
no, I don't either. But I'm on the overall scheme of things, right? When you listen to a show, you would think that they're just on. Yeah, they're on to promote something, but they're just on because they either like you, they like the show, whatever. I don't know.
That's not necessarily true.
But it's mostly to promote something.
It's mostly to promote something and yourself or a brand or something like that. You want to get on a platform or someone that's on a platform that can reach the biggest audience that you can. You know what I mean? That's like being a comedian in the 90s and 80s and getting on Letterman. Like, it's huge. Or Leno or something like that. If you had to settle for Conan O'Brien, you did so. But I wouldn't say it's because those people liked those hosts
True.
specifically, but they got a break kind
Right.
of thing.
Well, back then that was like a routine.
But if you
back
paid
then.
me at the same time, I mean, I could give a fuck if I like you or not.
Right. Well, back then that was like a routine. I feel like nowadays though, with social media and everything being big, you can kind of pick and choose what show to go on, what podcasts to go
Oh,
on.
definitely.
Like it's just endless. Like back then, like there was a certain path that you had to be on these people's shows in order to promote anything. Well, now since it's just so open, you can kind of pick and choose. You don't have to be on Late Night with Jimmy Kimmel. Like you could go on Howard Stern straight up. You can go on whatever local radio show. Like you can pick and choose. Now I feel.
I feel like they reach out to you. If you're the biggest of the big and everyone's reaching out to you, then you can pick and choose. I feel like there's going to be more detail to that, I guess, than just.
I don't know, but like for instance, like I don't think Joe Rogan had to pay Rodgers to be on his show.
No.
Right, but then Pat
that
McAfee,
benefits Rodgers.
Right, but Pat McAfee has to pay him, regardless of the money amount, to be on his show, and it's just first of all, it's just not authentic because it's like a weekly thing. You give off the vibe like you're best friends or whatever, but Now, granted, if he's got the money to do it, God bless you. And regardless, I mean, I don't feel like it makes Rodgers more of a douchebag because if someone's willing to pay you that money,
or they worked out a deal or something, some kind of contract, and that's what it was. But I don't know.
It just seems weird. Like it's just cringy to me that you have to pay to have somebody on.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you got to promote.
That's what everybody kind of does to a degree anyway to get anything going. You pay people off.
Yeah.
I mean, all the way up to the government. I don't really know what else I can add to that.
Well, maybe it's just me. I don't know. It's cringy. It's
is,
cringy
no,
to me.
I get your point. I wouldn't pay somebody to come sit on here.
It's one thing you promote something.
Yeah.
That's fine. Your show, your book, shirts, whatever the fuck. But to physically pay somebody and then give off the impression like we're friends, we like each other,
Right, like
or you like me, it's like it's not real.
If I was in contact with somebody and they were interested in doing the show, and then all of a sudden they were like, yeah, if you pay me like $50, like I'll come on. I'll be like, let me ask Will. I'll think about it, and then.
Right. But it's like paying a hooker, and you're like, yeah, this is my girlfriend. She's like, she loves me so much. But you're paying her every fucking week to hang with you.
That's a better. Yeah.
That's like the vibe I'm getting with Pat McAfee paying Rodgers. Like, it's just like,
if they're pretending to be best buddies, it's like how genuine really is that?
Exactly. And then how sad are you that you can't get no one else on or anyone high profiling that you need Rodgers to be
one.
You need Rodgers to be on your show. Like, okay.
Well, I have been dreaming a lot more lately. I know we did a lot of an episode about dreams, and apparently Japanese scientists have created an MRI machine that's capable of reading and interpreting your dreams.
Okay.
So now I won't have to stop when something weird happens and think about what's going on right now and how that pertains to my life. I could get one of these babies. So
I'm sure it's cheap.
Yeah,
Payment plans.
Right?
Payment plans.
A trip to Japan.
Yeah.
Findings revealed it's possible to decode dreams using functional magnetic resonance imaging that detect blood flow within the brain. This is kind of how this machine is able to do this. It monitors brain activity and captures images that are then fed into an AI program that analyzes them for patterns and connections. The ATR Computational Neuroscience Laboratories in Kyoto, Japan, started off by monitoring the brain activity of lightly sleeping volunteers. They were able to predict images seen by participants while they slept with up to 60% accuracy rate, so there's still some fine-tuning. But this can be used to help people suffering from nightmares or PTSD to better understand their subconscious thoughts. So that's kind of interesting. It makes me kind of want to do that.
It's bullshit.
All right, it might be bullshit, but this one made me smile at least a little bit, saying on the line of dreams, a Harvard psychologist revealed that dogs dream of their humans. So when Lorenzo's dreaming, there's a good chance he's dreaming about you, buddy.
Here's the thing. It's hard to the brain is so complex. The dreaming aspect, there's no definite thing to it.
It's a fucking acid trip.
And they're right, but there's no set in stone on if you dream this is exactly what it means.
Thank
because
you. I agree with
even
that.
because it's a perspective. Because and we broke it down when you did a dream.
Mm-hmm.
You were thinking this way, and when you say it to me, I'm interpreting it in a whole nother direction. So
and you could end up convincing me that that's what it is.
What it really is,
right.
but it's all about your perspective,
Yep.
and it's like what machine? Yeah, it could be a fun little thing, like if you're dumb and you can't think on your own. To have a
guides.
fucking someone else to tell you what these dream means, but again, there's no blanket statement. Everyone can interpret it something like it's as simple as like those fucking shirts or something that says, "Oh, it's gold," but you could really see blue,
right. It's
or
blue
you could
and,
really see fucking white,
it's blue and black, or it's white and gold, and it's
right.
And
Everyone, we're all looking at the same picture, but there's so many different answers to it. So that's how I see it with dreams. There's no, again, it's just another fucking money grab to be like, oh yeah, we could break it down. We know what all the dreams mean. No, the fuck you
just
don't.
like Robert the Doll, another money grab. Do you hear me, Robert?
Yeah.
You're gonna cause some misfortune.
I do.
But yeah, Dr. Deirdre Barrett, I almost said Barnett, Barrett, a clinical and evolutionary psychologist at Harvard Medical School, was studying the dreaming patterns of dogs and revealed they dream similarly to humans do, I guess, based on... I've seen a documentary. They put nodes on a dog's head and they showed it images of like infants, like little babies smiling. And the dog's face, a lot of times when they're panting, but it looks like a smile, the areas in their brain were the same on the nodes in the areas of a brain of a human being shown the same images of children. And they're like, oh, like it's cute kind of thing.
Right.
Or it's making you happy or feelings of happiness. So I guess these studies were probably done along the same lines.
You know what? They're not doing studies on cats. Wonder why.
Because they don't give a fuck.
That's right.
The look on their face is exactly what you think it is.
We're not doing studies with fucking cats, are we?
We are not. No, you can't get them. You got to catch them first, and that's kind of difficult. But.
It's not hard to catch a pussy.
Well, in California, they just banned something. They're the first U.S. state to ban this product and 12,000 other additional products for cancer-causing additives. What do you think got banned?
Skittles.
You fucking saw my phone, you
No,
bitch.
I did not.
It is Skittles.
No, I did not.
Did you see the story?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, not that particular story, but when you just said it, I actually was thinking, what is something randomly that they banned?
Skittles.
And it was
Skittles.
I remember Skittles.
You think they love the rainbow, right? But I guess not. Governor Gavin Newsom has signed into a bill that bans the use of 4 chemical food additives, including red dye number 3 in the state. So that's the reasoning behind it. Now,
red dye number 3.
Right. And now I've seen a lot of things on TikTok about like nutritionists and dietitians and people that were breaking down about these red dyes and food colorings, but red dyes specifically that cause either neurological things to happen in certain cases or allergic reactions in others. Case in point for myself anyway, I was like 11 or 12. I was at my buddy Corey's house, and it was before a baseball practice. We played AAU baseball throughout the summer when it was the off season of traditional time, and he probably remembers this. He had creamsicles in the freezer.
Okay.
And he asked if I wanted one, and I had them at his place before. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not?
It's a sweet. I'm surprised you didn't fucking pass out on the floor.
I hadn't hit adolescence yet. So he gave me one. All he had was red left. That's what we would always pick around him. We'd take the orange one, we'd take the purple, all around that.
So fucking pussies.
Start eating the red one, and all of a sudden I can feel this itching beneath my skin on the lips, and I'm like,
God.
So I start doing one of these and still eating it. And then I can feel almost like a numbing effect, even though I could still feel the itching. And I looked at myself in the mirror, and my lips had blown up like fucking Julia Roberts. It was ridiculous. It was just like that. So my mother being a nurse, I go right back home. I'm like, what the hell is going on? They They diagnosed it as something called cold urticaria, but I guarantee you the red dye was the reaction in that, because for a while there, anything that had a red food coloring in it would cause a more mild reaction. It wasn't as intense as that first one. And then over time, it went away. Like, I can eat stuff that has a red dye in it and not feel, who knows, maybe neurologically it's fucking up my head.
I think.
Case in point.
I
right
think
here.
those red Skittles made you soft as fuck. That's what I made
That's
you.
that's possible.
Listen, I'm glad. I'm glad that that's what we're focusing on in California is Skittles, the red dye, because who gives a fuck about meth, fentanyl?
They banned the rainbow.
Who cares about all the sodas that we have in schools? Who cares about all the fast food that we got going on? It's really the red dye and Skittles that's really have an effect on us. We don't give a fuck about obesity or anything like that.
Right. Not to mention the sugar that's in it. Right.
Or there's countless amounts of sugar that's in almost every product that we consume, but thank God we're cracking down on red dye on Skittles. I mean, listen, if he ever runs for president, I'm going to have to vote for him because that is, I don't know how we're still surviving as a country. I really don't. Goddamn those Skittles. Gotta tell you. All right. Well, Tyler, I'm going to need like a solid 5 minutes to end the show.
Okay.
Obviously with your opinions.
Sure.
But I need a solid 5 minutes. Obviously, as we all know, we have a crisis on our hands between the Israelis and the Palestinians, whatever. They're pretty much ISIS at this point, but yeah, whatever. It's been going on for almost 2 weeks.
It's been going on for centuries.
Well, centuries, but I'm just saying this
current, yes. Sorry.
I just want to stick
the peanut
with this.
gallery will shut up now.
A lot has come out on both sides. You have people attacking, defending, all this other stuff. I could go on and give you facts, information. Kind of feel like it's pointless at this point. I'm really just gonna speak from what I see and my feelings towards it, pretty much. I'm gonna start with this. I have never been more embarrassed to be an American citizen in my life. I thought the whole COVID thing was how we handled that was pretty embarrassing. There's a lot of things that we've done pretty poorly.
How we left Afghanistan.
How we took care of people in Maui, which we forgot. East Palestine, Ohio. Oh, we forgot about that. Yeah, no big deal. We'll get them next year. No problem. I'm embarrassed because there were American citizens from all around the world that were supporting Hamas. Supporting them. Waving the flags. Supporting that. They were killing babies and old people. Murdering them on the streets. They're celebrated. What the fuck are we doing? Really.
I did see a video of them. You see the bodies of the children in front of the house, and then they shove the parents into the back of a car. Just kicking them in like a folding chair. And I was just like, okay, it's pretty raw.
You know what it is? A lot of people are ill-informed. They're uninformed. They don't do their research. They think that, and again, it's what the media portrays. People are to believe that the Palestinians are held down by the Israelis, that they live in bad conditions because of Israel, not knowing that who controls them, Hamas, that has them in those living conditions. It's pretty much just like what Jim Jong-un, I know I fucked up his name, but does in North Korea. It's the same thing that he does. But we celebrate that. I mean, really. We don't even have, I mean, look, I understand we're so divided in everything in life. Murdering babies, and people are defending that. Not just American citizens, but people who left those countries and came over here that are now citizens. Not only that, I'll do you one better. People that are in our Congress, House of Representatives, are supporting that. AOC, Omar, a bunch of them. Tlaib, just to name a few.
Okay.
Support this. Unbelievable.
I've been trying my best to microdose it, but it is kind of, here's, I guess, a couple of feelings about it. Is it's so front page of everything. Not that it doesn't matter, but how blown up it is and shoved in front of everything else currently, I gotta wonder what's going on now.
Right.
Like someone tweeted out, while I know we're all just looking at what's going on with Israel and Hamas, but will someone keep an eye on Bill Gates, see what he's up to? Nope. Like anybody, but that's what I mean. Like that's where I'm kind of like, it's not that I don't care, but it's hard. There's no better way to say it. It's like It's not that I don't care, but I don't care. Like I'm over here. Like if we wanted, I heard it put this way too. If we want to have a talk or discussion or debate about that the Palestinians don't have access to their ports or geopolitical type discussions, okay. But you're right, cutting the heads off kids and the way we're treating civilians in general over there right now is disgusting.
And then people are mad at Israel for attacking back.
Yeah,
I mean, we're in fucking
right.
la la land.
It's like they're a bowl surrounded by soup. The only way they've been able to stay there, being neighbored by all these countries that are filled with people that have ideologies that just want to wipe them off the face of the earth. That's how they respond, unfortunately. Like they're using white phosphorus and shit like that on Palestine. The civilians are getting hit. There's so many casualties. That's the problem. Like both sides are used to fighting fire with gasoline. That's how they stay there.
Right.
But they've been like that forever. It's been on. It erupts periodically. It seems.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's never going to go away. The ultimate goal for either side is kind of wipe the other off the face of the earth when it comes to allies and stuff.
No, U.S. is getting in on it. We're full steam ahead. Hey, listen, we're taking in fucking refugees because it's not like we don't have enough people here. So we're taking them in. All I'm going to say is this. A lot
of air support too. The Israelis are the troops on the ground.
We have all this fucking money.
The naval presence is primarily U.S. The air presence is U.S. And yes, a lot of those naval vessels are aircraft carriers.
We're sending troops there, baby. Who gives a fuck?
I guess the way around that is that is an official ally kind of a thing. So that's the argument, the counterpoint that people are always going to throw at you when you go to question it, which is frustrating because it is there. I get it, but it is frustrating when we're footing the bill for yes, would we try to say that Russia's issues with Ukraine, are not good and it's evil and we don't like it, sure, but I don't think my tax money should go to fund that. Same way with this. We could think the Hamas and Israel thing is awful and Hamas is evil and whatever. Should I think that my tax money should go to fund this war too? Because we do this all the time. Let's fund this freedom fighter fucking area here to overthrow these awful people, and then 5 years later the awful people now it's a vicious circle.
Right, but I would.
A lot of the weapons and shit we left behind in Afghanistan apparently are being used by Hamas in these assaults.
We don't talk about that. Let's not talk about that. But I will say this: I feel better of us sending money and aid to Israel because they are our ally.
Right, that
part of our NATO group.
Because they would,
Not Ukraine.
Okay.
Even though they've had plenty of opportunities and they said, no, fuck you. And again, it's been almost 2 years, and what are we doing? Nothing. I'm gonna say is this is none of this shit was going on when Trump was in. But hey,
Yeah.
you know what?
They said he was going to be the one to put us on into World War III, and then
It's amazing.
now all of a sudden we're on the brink of it, and he's
Amazing.
Yeah.
None of this shit was going on when Trump was in. But hey, you know what?
That's sad too.
Thank God there's no mean tweets. Thank God. Oh.
Let's bring him back.
Oh, and did you see all the fucking Palestine supporters?
There
in
was a lot of
Congress?
irony there. Well, not the Congress ones, but I've seen there were signs on the street, and it was
No,
a
they
bunch of
were
people
in the
decked out
house.
in rainbows,
Yeah.
and they said "Queers for Palestine." and
Beautiful.
the comments were great because they're just like, "Does someone want to tell them?" Like
Mia Khalifa
you would
supporting
get thrown
Palestine.
off the fucking
Yeah.
roof over there based on the way you live your life over here. They would kill you over there.
They don't think that.
Right.
They think the world is this
We
everywhere.
do. I would say that generally now we don't live in a world of nations and ideologies, but when it comes to religious fanaticism, they most definitely do. And that's apparent with all the stuff that we're seeing.
I love that Mia Khalifa supported.
She wore a fucking burqa in a porno. That's how it started.
She's on the ISIS kill list. She is. Like, she cannot go home because ISIS will kill her.
It's not a kiss list?
No, it's not a kid. It's not a gangbang. It's a fucking you're dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it's like, and especially all these women, AOC, Tlaib, Omar, they support Hamas. It's like they will kill. Like, they don't respect women.
They would get stoned in the street for speaking up.
It is.
Let alone showing their
It
face.
is bonkers. And then they flood the White House, and guess what?
Yeah.
Hold on.
I saw that.
Here's what's amazing. Here's what's amazing. That's okay. Hey, they are just there for, the freedom of speech. It's ironic because January 6th, an infamous day. Oh my God.
I saw a meme like that too. It had them juxtaposed right to left. January 6th on the left, and then the Hamas support on the right in the occupation. And on the left of January 6th, it says darkest day in history. And then on the right, it says stunning and brave. Interestingly enough, the same thing that same slogan they used for the trans movement when that started.
But again, it doesn't matter how much evidence or proof you put forward. They're just that whatever. They're just stuck in this is what we're doing. And I got to tell you, this is what we deserve. This is what we deserve.
Yeah.
I hope that we get run through. I hope we do.
It's another piece of the
it's
puzzle.
a shit show.
It's another piece of that puzzle that we have been putting together, both of us, in theory, the last couple of weeks of there's not going to be an election. They're going to suspend it because of wartime.
Yeah.
Whether it's with the China-Russia thing, now you got Hamas. It's all happening right at once. We don't want this other stuff to happen, so let's enact something that has, we used it once or twice. I'm probably wrong. It probably was just once. Who knows? But, yeah,
And
there's a precedent, and I feel like that's going to be the ace in the hole to keep the game going for a little bit longer until we can get where we need to be. We're behind schedule.
And America as a whole, we're a bunch of pussies. As
Oh,
you
yeah.
just said. We let this happen. And there's no fight. We're just like, well.
Right. We're outraged by the news. Even us. I mean, we're going to have to go ahead and eat that. We're outraged by the news, all of us. But then, yeah, we do just go on with our lives. Like, our circle of concern is still really tight, even though socially it seems to be very broad.
I'm just embarrassed. I mean, really. That's just really what it boils down.
I'm not. We are a clown show, and I ain't hiding it.
I'm not mad anymore. I'm just like, whatever. I just, like I said, it really, the final straw, really, was just seeing American citizens support Palestine, Hamas, killing babies. That's what we're doing. So I guess my question is this: if Hitler was around today, would he be praised?
It was the National Socialist
Would
Party.
we have swastikas hanging around our U.S. Congress? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Because that's where we're at kind of right now.
If race wasn't, part of the structure, he might be.
I'm just
Yeah.
asking. It's just a
That
question.
might be the one thing, you know. Yeah. We'll see. Only time will tell. But until next time.